Japan has a rich culture that is unique in the world due to it being an island. In fact, there was even a long period of isolation during the Edo period. This series will explore several Japanese fairy tales. These fairy tales form the bedrock of ancient tales and an interesting aspect of Japanese culture that is often only explored by anime, and indeed inspires anime. The tale for today is the tale of Momotaro. The story is widespread in Japan and is known by many. The fairy tale is as follows. There was once an elderly couple, their love strong and their hard-working mentality commendable. Each day for countless years the farmers tilled the soil and removed the grass weeds, a tiring and monotonous task. With great effort this man tirelessly laboured, and his wife too laboured hard. They were without child and longed for one. Nonetheless, they still worked tirelessly to contribute to society. There was one incredibly special day of which started like any other. The elderly gentleman trudged off to the fields to weed the gardens. His elderly wife too trudged far to the river banks to begin washing clothes. The wife was deep in contemplation and working the washing boards with great earnest effort, when suddenly a giant peach came floating down the river at a gentle pace. This kind and hard-working woman was astonished by its size and desired to pluck it from the river. She searched for a stick to coax in the peach, and alas, there was none. She began to clap to time the speed at which the peach moved down the river to go and seek a stick. Whilst doing so, she sang an old Japanese folk song. Suddenly, the peach began to ripple through the water towards her. She grasped the peach with glee and realized it was very heavy indeed. She then happily thought of how pleased her husband would be with such a succulent peach. She carried it home, placed it on the old Japanese-style table and sat content on the tatami floor, looking out into the splendorous nature, waiting on her husband's return. After a long day of work, the old man returned with his sack full of grass, so much so that his face could not be seen. He turned to his wife with tired eyes, and his eyes met her smile and the giant peach. He smiled and said, "Oh, my sweet love, where did you buy such a magnificent peach?" She smiled and replied, "It was floating down the river, and I ushered it to my side by song." He smiled and said, "My wife, let us eat." As he reached for the knife, something incredible happened. A voice was heard from the peach. "Please wait, old man." The peach then began to open along its middle, and noticeably a young boy sprang from the peach. "Fear not, I am not a sprite, goblin nor devil. The gods have watched upon your tireless effort, contributing to the world around you with such earnest effort. I am here to be your reward for your labouring and kindness." The aging couple smiled, and they cherished the boy as the blessing from the gods that he was, like all children are, indeed. He went on to exhibit superhuman strength and excelled in everything he did. He was a kind-hearted boy and did not compete wholeheartedly with the other children, as he was supernaturally superior. When he reached the age of 15, he was growing in strength of mind, body, and spirit. For many years he had heard of the red-bearded demons that dwelled on an island north of Japan, and often raided and pillaged Japan. He felt a responsibility. Possessing superhuman strength and a sharp mind, he felt endowed with a responsibility to his homeland, to the world, and to the fight against evil. He had spent his life in the tutelage and guardianship of his surrogate parents that were indeed his parents despite his origin. He uttered to his father and mother, "Please, may I go, and I will return to you. This I promise. I have heard of the demons to the north plaguing our people and their evil ways. I am Momotaro, and blessed with supernatural strength and origin." They loved him with great force, and were at first surprised that he desired to conquest against these demons. Momotaro's father quickly came to the conclusion that he was a gift from the gods, not only for the two doting parents, but also for the nation and the force of good. And so they begged of him, please wait a short while, whilst we get you the supplies you need to go on your journey, to do the bidding of goodness. They knew that Momotaro was no normal boy, with supernatural origin and superior wits and strength, so unlike normal children that must stay with their parents until coming of age. And so they agreed and began creating supplies. They laboured as earnestly as always to make him delicious rice cakes, pounding the rice with diligence and love, with faith in their child's return. They gave unto him a number of rice cakes along with other supplies. The cakes were delicious indeed. And so the Momotaro set out on his journey and was waved onwards by his parents, whom waited patiently for his return. Momotaro walked a significant distance and sat to rest beside a tree in a beautiful landscape and began to munch on his delicious rice cake, when suddenly a ferocious dog comes bounding across the field and faces him, growling with a terrifying demeanour, and clearly had considerable strength. The dog began to speak. You insufferable human, you trespass on my meadow, and feel free to rest against my greenery and enjoy my views. How dare you? I shall tear you limb from limb with my teeth if you do not hurry your way out of here, the dog growled. Momotaro, without fear, solemnly said, I am Momotaro. I have set out on an adventure to rid Japan of the plaguing red-bearded demons that pillage the innocent. Do not obstruct my path, or it shall be I that destroys you. Momotaro, the dog whimpers. Many speak of your great strength. I should not have spoken to someone of such status in such a manner. Shielding his teeth, he hangs his head in shame. Momotaro smiles at the dog, and the dog rises to speak. Momotaro, please take me with you. I too wish to do the deed of good and help you rid the land of these demons. Momotaro is at first apprehensive to accept the dog, yet he quickly, with a kind heart, accepts and gives him half a rice cake. They both chow down on delicious rice cakes and revel in their delicious quality, and so they continue. Many days pass on their expansive journey. Their bond grows strong, and they feel as though they are one unit, when suddenly a monkey comes bellowing down a tree, screeching and bounding around, taunting the dog. Momotaro questions the monkey for his disobedient behavior and demands he submit. The monkey says, I merely desired to speak with you. I have been trailing you with post-haste for many days. I wish to join you on your most noble quest. The dog snorts in derision and says, We have no use for a monkey in this quest. Begone. Momotaro says, Don't be hasty. There is strength in numbers. I accept your offer of allegiance. The dog, jealous and particularly not fond of monkeys, resentfully perches at his side, and they eat half a rice cake each. The coming days are heated, and the monkey and the dog squabble endlessly, vying for the adoration of Momotaro and trying to prove who is the stronger beast. Momotaro, a boy with an open heart and a mentality of unity and inclusivity, feels frustrated by the behavior of the two animals. He proceeds to divide them and gives the dog a flag and sends him ahead and sends a monkey behind with the sword, whilst Momotaro wielded an iron war fan, their procession looking rather powerful. Then suddenly a large bird with 5 different robes of feathers with a scarlet cap comes zooming in from the sky, diving with super speed in front of them. Immediately, the dog, daunted by its speeds, senses the danger it poses and begins to attempt to end the threat. The bird proceeds to attack the dog's tail, and they fight tirelessly for some time. Momotaro is astonished by the spirit of the bird and its exceptional fighting skills. Momotaro holds the dog back and says, You hinder my journey, bird. If you do not desist, I will allow this dog to tear off your head. The bird immediately takes a docile demeanour and squawks, I know not of a reason to offer for quarrelling with the dog other than that I did not see you. I am merely a pathetic pheasant. Please allow me to join your party of the brave. Momotaro is intrigued by the spirit of the bird and impressed by its obedience. The monkey and the dog are not amused. Momotaro, to the surprise of the others, gives the bird half a rice cake, and they continue on their journey. These three enchanted beasts quarrel to the point that Momotaro can no longer tolerate it. Momotaro takes a stand against the unsavory behavior and declares a speech that rallies a greater unification of the party, expressing that together we are strong and divided we are weak. That is, together we rise, divided we fall. The animals realize that they are on this quest with a common goal and must set aside minor squabbles for the greater good of fulfilling their quest for the innocent people of their nation that are plagued by the demons. They continue on their journey with great stride, and a union of common goals and squabbles are set aside. They reach the shore of the northern face of Japan. The sea is turbulent, and a mist washes over the horizon with nothing to be seen. The animals, with the endless nothingness of the horizon, shudder in fear. Momotaro yells, You are fearful of the ocean? I should leave you here. What use are you to me if the tide fills you with fear when we face demons? The animals at once regain composure and beg Momotaro to allow them to continue as one fierce unit. Momotaro smiles, and they set to find a ship. Once having found the ship, they set out to the ocean, and it takes many days, perhaps even weeks, to find the island. Meanwhile, in the meantime, the supernatural creatures entertain Momotaro with the stories of their exploits and joke around on the ship. Momotaro is ingratiated by the animals, and when their bond reaches an apex, they notice the island is appearing on the horizon. A dark mist is lit with glowing, flaming embers on a dirty shore, with a fortress of considerable size and magnitude. Momotaro turns to the pheasant and says, With your wings, I want you to fly to the top of the castle walls and declare the battle and fight valiantly up there until we reach the interior of the fortress. The pheasant at once flies up there, declares the might of Momotaro and that the supernatural beast troop are here to show them the end. The demons laugh and with arrogance set out to kill the bird that seems like he is simply victim to madness. The demons, with their red fiery beards and fierce horns, adorn their armour and begin to fight with the pheasant. The pheasant fights with such ferocity that the demons are unsure how many pheasants they fight. Meanwhile, in the meantime, Momotaro, the monkey, and the loyal dog crevasse the fortress wall, seeking entrance. They are struggling to find a way in, when suddenly they hear the sobbing of two young women. They hurry to the estuary to find two women washing blood-stained clothes and armour in the river. Why do you do the bidding of these demons and wash the blood from their apparel? The sobbing women reply, We have been taken captive by the demon king and his band of demons. They threatened to devour our flesh and have devoured many other innocent people's flesh. Momotaro exhibits his strength and stands tall. This ends now, he declares. Fear not, we will relinquish you from your bondage. Show us a way into the fortress, and let us spill the blood of these demons. The women, reluctantly, yet knowing their ultimate fate, abide and show them the way. Momotaro, the dog, and the monkey bellow down into the fortress and begin to fight with great ferocity. They battle like how birds fly, how schools of fish swim, with perfect unity. They slash and bite and tear the demons limb from limb with no hesitation, as retribution was deserved. They are left with the demon king breathing heavily in fear on his knees, all the other demons laid to a bloodied waste. Momotaro takes pity on the Demon King and declares that he must slice off his horns in penance to them and all that the Demon King had done wrong. Momotaro takes him into his dominion and returns great treasures and relics to the nation of Japan. The people rejoice, for their fear is relinquished and their relics returned. Momotaro is given a proportion of the treasure and returns to his parents with the Demon King as prisoner. He gives his parents the treasure, and they finally have a day off from work after many years of striving to survive and contribute to society. The family are unified once more, and their faith and love is as ever strong as the day the gods blessed them with a giant peach, beckoned by song and hard work.